Online training match. Here comes a new challenger. Round one.
Man, doing booty. Booty.
Marisa wins! Round one.
Hard defense! Hey, mouse!
Round two. Fight! Marisa wins!
Now, find a new rival.
Why, thank you. Okay.
Bet that hurt. Hadouken! Hadouken! Ken wins! Round one. Fight!
Is my poison kicking it?
Round two. Fight!
Hello.
Bad mistake! Final round! Fight! How's this? Eye on the prize! Bet that hurt. Ken wins! A new warrior has entered the ring! Round one. Fight! How's this? Round two. Fight! Hadouken! Where you go? Luke. Round one. Fight. Where you going? Hadouken! comes a new challenger.
Gotta do this. Come on. Don't expect me to be a pushover.
Round one. Fight.
Now, find a new rival.
Interesting.
Don't expect me to be a pushover.
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Bison. Round one.
How's this? Tatsumaki! Hadouken! Hadouken!
Ken wins! Round one. Fight! Bison wins! Comes a new challenger. Ready yourself.
Don't expect me to be a pussy.
Round one. Fight.
How's
Akuma, win! Round one.
Hadouken! 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 Hadouken!
Here comes a new challenger. Here's to a fair fight. Round one. JP wins! Round one. That's right! Round two. Fight! Bet that hurt. Ken wins!
hear the speech and follow the rest of it. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to gather us all here. It's easy that He gathers us all in Jannah في الفردوس الأعلى. Ameen. Dua is free, wallahi. And I ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to aid our brothers and sisters. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to aid our brothers and sisters in Palestine. I ask Allah to give victory, deal with this one. Firstly, Lord, that's the life. Marriage is a great act of worship that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has legislated for us. This act of worship, marriage, is something that is extremely beloved to Allah. Allah loves it. Because there's two benefits that come out of marriage. And that's why it's important before one gets married, we understand the objective and the goal of marriage. Why are we getting married? It's important to understand that first. Some people get married because everyone else is getting married. Some people get married because social pressure presses them to get married. Some people get married because it just seems cool. Or they saw it on a movie. They thought, you know what, I want to live that. But when you understand the actual goals of marriage and what you're trying to achieve when you get married, it makes your marriage more meaningful. There are a number of objectives in marriage. Now, the Prophet ﷺ said, marry the woman who is affectionate and has a lot of children, so because I'm going to show off with my number, the number of the ummah, under the judgment. Actually, I've children, a lot of children. You mentioned some of these objectives in marriage. The first objective of marriage is the religious one, it's the spiritual one. It is so that your deen is stronger, that you become stronger in your faith. You are one who has support on your journey to Allah Azza wa Jalla. You have someone who is sharing that journey with you, who complements you on that journey. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he told us that when you get married, you're completing half of your religion, the other half. But you know, in order for someone to complete that half of the other half of the religion, it must first be working completing the first half. That's what you need to do before you get married. But before you get married, you're working on yourself. You're trying to get closer to Allah Ta'ala. You establish a strong relationship with Allah Ta'ala. You are one who is out to Allah. That is what requires for one who gets married, so that when you get married, you have someone else who is going to bring that other half of that devoutness to Allah Azza wa Jalla, to help you in the journey to Allah. What does it mean to be one who completes that first half? It means, in simple terms, I'll make it as simple as possible. It means that you are one who fulfills your obligations to Allah. That's what Allah applies upon you, you do it. But if you are one who neglects that's what Allah Ta'ala has obliged upon you, then you haven't worked in that first half of the religion that you are required to practice. If you are one who's not praying your 5 daily prayers, nothing is wrong with your religiosity that you need to fix. If you're one who's not beautiful to their parents and perhaps harmful to their parents, you need to be one who is beautiful to them, you need to work in a relationship. If you're one who's not fulfilled the other obligations, don't fast Ramadan, don't give the charity obligatory, you are not one who goes out your way to do the things that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made a requirement for you to be a Muslim, that's what you need to work on. You need to fix that. You're like, I help you to do it, you're like, you're fix. The funny story behind it is that before I came to Sweden, there were brothers who were arranging, the English word arranging, right? They were arranging a schedule. So what happened was, they kept telling me, you know, if you want to have this Stockholm, you want to do this in Gothenburg, you can fix it. They kept saying to me. So I didn't understand what they mean to fix it, what's broken. So I said to them, everything's fine, there's nothing that needs to be fixed. They said to me, no, if you really want to do this lecture here, we can fix that as well. It's fixed the way you arrange. Turns out you guys still fix in language, huh? You translate it directly. You guys don't fix that. So what you need to do is to fix the first half of your deal. Once you fix it, it will make you someone who's prepared to go into that marriage. Why? Because look at this. The Prophet ﷺ, when he spoke talk about the criteria that you should look out for when it comes to getting married. When you're looking for a spouse, a husband, or a man is looking for a wife, the criteria that he printed out each time is that look at that religiosity. The deen. That deen is that they fulfill their obligations to Allah. If they do more, that's better. Right? But there are people who fulfill their obligations to Allah wa ta'ala, they are a match. That's what the Prophet rather, he said to us, that is the most important criteria. Everything else does not matter. If that is not intact, if they have all the other criteria, it's not a match for you. He said about the man, إذا أتاكم من ترضون دينه if a man approaches to the creator, and you're pleased with his character, his religiosity, they marry him up to your creator. If his character and religiosity be unacceptable. So notice something here. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned the religion, the deen, but then on top of that he mentioned the character. Character is part of deen, but he mentioned it by itself to show that it's important. Because a man's character is one of the most important things in a marriage. Some people they are religious, obligated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of their ibadah, but they are clear when it comes to character. You may be the first row in every salah, he might be the masjid at all times, but his tongue is loose, he asks everything he wants. He behaves with the people how he wants. He is harsh, he oppresses the people, he backbites the people, he is one who's extremely aggressive, and so on. These are things that one needs to work on. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala, listen to the man. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he says, this is a general statement, but even more important for a man. He says, if an individual surpasses you and is higher in you than you in good character, he has surpassed you in deen. He has more deen than you. If someone has more good character than you, he has more deen. That's a general statement for everyone. But it's even more important for the man. You know why I say it's even more important for the man? Because the man, he's the one, most of the time, who either makes the marriage or breaks it.
Beginning operation.
It's within the man's sphere. Because there are going to be times in a marriage where things are going to be extremely difficult. There are going to be times in a marriage where things are going to get tough. There are going to be times in a marriage where there are going to be extreme disagreements with your spouse. When these matters occur, the man does not have the right to be emotional. He doesn't have that right. Because if he were to be emotional, that's what can lead the marriage to breaking down. For instance, your wife is upset, she is shouting, she is screaming, she's absolutely breaking the cups and like crazy everything. Right? How do you react? You're meant to be calm in a situation like that. You're not allowed to be angry, you're not allowed to shout back, you're not allowed to wait for the situation to calm down. Then you deal with it. That's part of having good character and being one who's wise. The Prophet ﷺ is like that. Our Messenger ﷺ, because he's the best example for all of us. He ﷺ, did he have difficult times in his marriage? Yes, he did. How did he deal with it? He dealt with it in the following life. Imagine looking at this one day, Prophet ﷺ, he was in the house of Aisha radiallahu anha. And then he was going to have some guests that are coming to his house. So the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to compete. They were jealous of each other, so they used to compete. So one of the other wives of the Prophet ﷺ, she sent her son with a dish of food to take to the house of Aisha to be given to the guests. The food is brought to the house. Now, Aisha radiallahu anha, when she sees it, she gets offended. She has every right to get offended. Because this other wife is making it seem like that Aisha cannot cater for the guests, that she cannot host them. So what does Aisha radiallahu anha do? She grabs the dish and she smashes it in front of the Prophet ﷺ. Imagine that. Mama Rasul is in front of the Prophet ﷺ. She smashes it. Some of the narrations they say that the guests were there with the Prophet ﷺ and she smashed the plate in front of the guests and the Prophet ﷺ. Imagine now,
Out of my way.
I want you to imagine the house of the Prophet ﷺ. It's very small, it's a hujrah, very small. The guests where Aisha are, where the Prophet ﷺ, all within the same area, very tiny. It's not, she's not in a separate room when she's doing this. They're in the same area, she smashed it. How would you react if that happened to you? Perhaps some of us, if that's happening to them, their wives smash the plates in front of them, they'll tell all the guests, let everyone out. I'll do this right now, right? And perhaps the situation will escalate. And they'll let their emotions drive them. Think of the best of creation, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. His first reaction was that he smiled, the Sahaba shocked. Some of them were thinking, what happened? What on earth is going on? What have we walked into? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he knows that if you say first to them, your mother became jealous. And then he helped clean up the place as if nothing happened. That takes a lot of self-restraint. That is true strength. A man who can do that is a strong man. Because the Prophet ﷺ told us, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. But the strong man is not the one who's able to wrestle people and beat them physically. That's not a strong man. He said, إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ مَنْ يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The true strong one is the one who's able to control himself when he's angry.
That's right.
If you lose control of yourself when you're angry, you're a weak man. You let shaitan get the best of you. You're not able to combat him. You don't have the strength to do so. But the man who's able to have that self-restraint, and he refrains from being extremely emotional, and even losing his mind because of how emotional he becomes, that's a strong man. Now the question of every single one of us, especially the men, used to ask himself is that, how much of that do I possess? If I don't possess that, I need to now work and especially if you're not married, it's quite difficult. You learn to be forbearing. You learn to be patient. The Prophet ﷺ told us, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ. He said that knowledge, it's learned. And just like that, forbearance, learning to be patient is something that you can learn, you teach yourself that.
Another fight is coming your way.
Beginning operation.
Don't expect me to be a pushover.
Some of the previous righteous people, amongst them are those who were extremely forbearing, to the extent that if the worst thing was done to them, they would not lose themselves. There was a man known as Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais. Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais was a tabi'i, generation after Sahaba. He was known for his extreme hilm, forbearance. It is said that some of the people, they heard the reputation of Ahnaf happened. He was extremely forbearing. So they wanted to test his forbearance. So they sent a man, a foolish man, and this foolish man, they gave him his money. They said to him, we want you to go to Ahnaf ibn Qais, he's the leader of his tribe, whilst he's sitting with his people, his men, who respect him. We want you to go to him and sit with him and smack him in the face. They gave him money to do that. You see his reaction. Right? So, Al-Ahnaf, he was sitting there all his men are around him, and these are men that respect him. Especially when there's others there and you get hit by someone, you feel obliged to retaliate because you're going to look weak if you don't retaliate, right? So you're coping in a difficult time. So you look, man comes with Ahnaf, and he sits with Ahnaf,
That's right.
and he says to him, are you the extremely forbearing man? Ahnaf, he knows that there's a certain man who's plotting against him, who's trying to harm him. So he says to him, I'm forbearing, but that man over there is even more forbearing than me. I think that's the one you're looking for. That's the man who sent him. So the man was sitting in the corner, and he was praying. So what's happened? This man, this foolish man who said, this is the man I'm looking for. He went behind him, smacked him. Ahmed smiled and he said that that was a smack that was for me, but because of my forbearance, Allah Ta'ala diverted from me. Right? Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He sees good character, when He sees that you are a person who has good character for Allah, Allah Azza wa Jalla will make things easier. Because good character is an act of worship. It's ibadah. That's why the Prophet ﷺ told us that أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة هو الله يسمى. The most two matters that make the people into paradise, it is God consciousness, taqwa, and good character. It's an act of worship.
Scary.
The more you have it, the more Allah Azza will please with you, and Allah Azza will aid you and assist you in your affairs. While the Prophet ﷺ told us, إن الرجل لا يبلغ بحسن خلقه درجة الصائم القائم. That an individual will attain with his good character the status and the rank of the one who fasts a lot of voluntary fasting, and the one who prays a lot of voluntary prayers. You get the same rank as that individual because of your good character. Show the value of what's inside of Allah. So that's something that we need to work on, we need to develop. That will make you more prepared for marriage. That's the first thing. Secondly, أيها الكرام, it is also essential that when you are, because the title of this lecture is How Do We Find the One, right? Is that correct? That's correct. So that's the most question that I get when it comes to marriage questions. How do I find someone? What do I do to find someone? And the answer that I've given, I don't know, in the lecture. But because there's not one answer to this. There's numerous answers that can be given. I'm going to give a breakdown. Hopefully, it will make it easier for us to understand. How do I find the person that I'm looking forward to get married to? First step that you need to take when it comes to getting married and finding someone who's suitable for you is that you look in the place that you're going to find everything. And that's with Allah. The first step that you take, which is the practical step that most people overlook, sometimes they don't do at all, is that you raise your hands to Allah, Jalla fi ula, and you sincerely ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant you a righteous spouse, someone who is good for you. You raise your hands, sincerely ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, you know why? Because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala promises to give you a response to whatever you ask. That's a promise from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So it does not make sense for me to not ask. Before I ask any human being, I look elsewhere, I ask Allah first. And whenever you ask Allah Jalla fi'ala, sincerely Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will never disappoint you. The Prophet ﷺ tells in hadith, there are three categories of people that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala promises to help them, to aid them, to assist them. Amongst them is the one who is trying to get married to protect themselves from haram. Allah promised to help that person to get married. If you're sincere. If you're sincere in looking for marriage, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows your heart, how sincere you are, and how serious you are, be behind to Allah Azza wa Jalla to ask Allah to aid assistance to grant you that spouse. And the way you ask Allah Azza wa Jalla matters. Some people they say, you know, I made Quran. I'm so single about that. What are you about that? The way you ask Allah makes a difference. What do I mean by the way you ask Allah? It means that Quran has a certain way that you ask Allah to do that. Prophet Ali taught us how to form up format of du'as.
Rashid.
He told us that when you ask Allah Ta'ala to start by praising Allah Azza wa Jalla, because that will make the dua more acceptable. Then after you praise Allah Azza wa Jalla, sing salutations upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Then after that, quickly
Chunky is spicy. What he's doing is spicy. I'm talking hours of 5 delicious protein. Is it hot again? Or is it just chunky? Soup that eats ugly.
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to prevent divorce, stop separation, and win your wife back is not talking.
forgiveness from Allah, because when calamity will happen to you, find teaching strength. Seek forgiveness from Allah from the sin that you committed. And then ask Allah for what you did. Ya Allah, grant me a beautiful wife. And then you end it by sending citations from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. That's format makes your dua more accepted in front of Allah. But then the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam told us other things, other factors that matter. He told us, number one, that you ask Allah with certainty that you're going to get a response. He said, Udu Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijaba. Ask Allah whilst you're certain that you're going to get a response. Meaning that if you have a speck of doubt that you're going to get a response, you're not going to get a response. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla says to you, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Ask me, I shall respond to you. And then you say, I'm going to ask you, but I'm not sure that you're going to give me a response. That's disrespectful. How do you think to get a response? When you have that mindset, you have to be certain 100% and ask Allah, I'm going to get a response. The response that you get, it is not always the response that you asked for. You asked for something that you wanted, and Allah Ta'ala will grant you that which is better for you. That's given. Because Allah knows that which is the best for you. So whenever you put up for Allah, the Prophet ﷺ told us that you're going to get one of three. Either Allah Ta'ala will grant you what you ask for, or Allah Ta'ala will protect you from harm that's coming your way due to your dua, or Allah Ta'ala will delay it for at a time and a time that you need it most. So every time you make dua, you're always waiting, instead of using. To ask you, but I'm not sure that you're going to give me a response, that's disrespectful. How do you think you're going to get a response? When you have that mindset, you have to be certain 100% and ask Allah, I'm going to get the response. The response that you get, it is not always the response that you asked for. You asked for something that you wanted, and Allah Ta'ala will grant you that which is better for you. That's given. Because Allah Azza wa knows that which is the best for you. So whenever you put up on Allah Azza wa the Prophet ﷺ told us that you're going to get one of three. Either Allah Ta'ala will grant you what you asked for, or Allah Ta'ala will protect you from harm that's coming your way due to your dua, or Allah Ta'ala will delay it for at a time that you need it most. So every time you make dua, you always really instead of using. And the Prophet ﷺ told us that the moment you say, I've made dua, I haven't got a response, if you have that attitude, you won't get it. He also told us ﷺ that Allah Ta'ala does not accept the dua of the heart that he makes. Meaning that when you're asking Allah, if you're not saying words, it's not coming to your heart, it's not genuine, you won't get the response. These things, they matter, they're part of how you ask Allah. It makes a huge difference to your dua. So that's how you ask Allah. Now look at this. The Quran, it has only one story of marriage in the Quran. The whole Quran, there's only one story of marriage. Which story is that? The story of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam, this story is the only story that's mentioned in the Quran that talks about marriage. How did Musa alayhi salam get married? Allah has mentioned to us, past lesson from it. What did Musa alayhi salam do? What are the steps he took? All of that, it's giving you a blueprint of how to get married. Musa alayhi salam, he came to a city. He's strange to a city, he doesn't know it. And then he found people who are by water, who are getting some water for their cattle, for their animals. And he saw two women who were far away from all the men who are collecting the water. So then Musa alayhi salam, he went to those two women. He said to them, what can I help you with? What's the matter? He said to him, we can't go to that. We have our captain, we can't get water for them, but we can't go over there until we when they leave and we go over there because they're shy. The nature of a woman is that she's modest and shy. She doesn't openly mix with the opposite gender. She's not close with the opposite gender. She keeps a distance. She's bashful and shy. Musa alayhi salam noticed that, so he said, okay, he volunteers to help them. He goes and gathers the water over there for their cattle because their father is very old, he can't come do it for them. So now Musa alayhi salam, when he gathers the water for them, he carries it with them and helps them take it all the way home. How does he walk? He walks in front of them, the woman is behind him. Because he showed respect to these women. He doesn't want to look at them. And what did he do? Allah istasafaa lahum. ثم تولى إلى الظل. After he gathered the water for them, he wanted to show them the obvious. He took the step. قال ربي إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. It's my Lord. I'm in dire need of the khair that descends that you sent down. I'm in dire need of it. All the goodness. He made that dua. After he made that dua, Allah said, straight away, that out of his ta'heed. Straight after he made the dua, instantly, one of the girls came to him. One of the two girls, she came to him. Allah Azza wa Jalla described how she came to him. It matters. Allah said, تمشي على الاستحياء. She was walking in a state of bashfulness and modesty. على استحياء قالت, she said in a shy, modest manner. What did she say? Verily my father is calling you to reward you for the service you done for us, the water you gathered for us. Straight away, the response to dua came. What was the response to dua? What happened? He comes to the father. He tells her about his story, that he left Egypt, he came over here, he fled, and so on. And then one of the girls, he says, oh our father, employ him, give him a job. Only the best individual that you can employ is the one who is strong and trustworthy. She pointed out these two characteristics that Musa alayhi salam had. Strength, which is physical strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength. Physical strength, emotional strength, and spiritual strength. Al-Amin, trustworthy. Trustworthiness, what does it mean? That you are one who fulfills the rights of every single person, everyone, fulfill their rights. That's what it means to be trustworthy. Ameen, amana, that you fulfill the rights of everyone. Starting with the rights of Allah. You have these two qualities, she said, oh our father, employ him. So what is this father say to the Nabi Musa alayhi salam? He says to him, he said, I want straight away, I want to marry to one of my two daughters. With the condition that you work for me for 8 years. And if you complete it as 10 years, so that's the mahar, dowry. That's from you, man. That's favor that you get to yourself. And I don't want to take a difficult thing. Musa alayhi salam, after he did that, and he made that dua to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, what happened? Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala granted him rizq, provision. Allah opened the door of provision for him, and he granted him marriage. Just by making that dua. The element of dua is essential. Making dua is so important. Please dua, the dua that takes to memoir, especially you who are not married. It will help you get married, inshallah. Allah will bring that state to you instantly. If you are one who perhaps thinks that I can't get married right now because I don't have the finances to get married, by making the dua, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala facilitate that for you so that you can get married. Like you did for Musa alayhi salam. But this story teaches something. It teaches the quality that you look out for a wife and the quality that you look out for a husband. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala reiterated twice the quality of bashfulness and modesty and shyness that these women had. Because modesty and bashfulness indicates God consciousness. It indicates fear of Allah. Because haya, the Prophet ﷺ told us how important it is when it comes to our faith. He said that al-haya ad-deen kullu. He said the whole religion, it is haya, modesty and bashfulness. Means the more modesty and bashfulness you have, the better your religiosity is, the better your Islam is, the better your Iman is. Now the Prophet ﷺ told us that al-haya shu'batun min iman. He told us that haya is the part of Iman. He told us ﷺ, inna li kulli deen khuluqa, that every single religion has a characteristic that is known for, and the characteristic of our faith Islam is al-haya. That's universal for men and women alike. But women, they can't be connected to haya with Allah as they created in this, which is more than a man, which gives them an advantage over us. Because a man sometimes he has to work hard to increase his modesty and to become more bashful. Whereas a woman, Allah gives her that advantage to snap with it. Allah couldn't her with it. So when she increases that bashfulness, she becomes a better mu'minah, a better believer. That's what a man looks out for. A man does not look for, he doesn't want a woman who mixes with men. He talks to every man in the street. No man wants that. A man does not want a woman who dresses in a way that's not modest, which goes against the guidelines of Allah. A man does not want a woman who walks in a way that attracts attention from other men. No man wants a woman like that. That's a reality. Am I right? Am I right? Because a man makes you jealous. He's created with ghirah. That he has jealousy, protective jealousy over his womanfolk. And that's part of the man. But the man has that protective jealousy that he does not want another man to be casually conversating with his wife and sitting with his wife and just having fun with his wife. No man wants that. He has that protective jealousy. Imagine the Prophet ﷺ, when he spoke about the ruling of adultery, if someone was caught committing adultery, that you have to bring 4 witnesses. Right? He mentioned that. One of the Sahaba doing the Sa'ad ibn He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I see another man with my wife, I'm not going to go and get 4 witnesses. I'm going to cut off his head right there. Kill him. Because of the deal. Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, "Ta'jabuna min ghirati Sa'ad." Are you amazed by the protective jealousy of Sa'ad? He said, yes. Prophet ﷺ responded by saying, Wallahi, I have more protective jealousy than Sa'ad, and Allah has more ghirah than me. Because Allah never created it. What does that mean? It means that your ghirah has to be within the limits of the Sharia. You can't exceed the limits of the deen. The limits, the boundaries that Allah Azza has put in place, that's where you stop. You don't go further than that. Some places they go extreme in their ghirah, which causes the man to go insane sometimes. And then he starts being paranoid and questioning everything about his wife. That's not how you can live in a marriage. His wife will look to the side, you looking at that man. Why are you looking at that man? What's wrong with you? You know this. It's sanity. But it has to be within the limits of Sharia. Like, be a normal person. Don't be crazy. That's what Allah mentioned in the Quran. But then look what Allah mentioned in the description of the man. What the woman should be looking for. It's two descriptions that Musa alayhi salam is described with strength. Strength is what a woman looks for. A woman looks for security. She looks for safety within a man. She's looking for a man who can take care of her. A man who is physically strong, spiritually strong, and mentally strong. He gives her that security that he has that qawwama. What is that qawwama? That qawwama is something Allah has given the men anointed or appointed by Allah with that qawwama. But what gives you that qawwama? One of the things that legitimizes your qawwama in the sight of Allah Ta'ala is that you provide a security for the woman. You provide for her. You provide a home for her that is secure. You give her wealth that she needs to take care of her. You provide her health care, everything she needs, you take care of her. That's the man's duty. When that role is taken away from a man, and there's no reason to have a man. When that's taken away from a man, that marriage will not last. It will not work. Because a marriage is like a company. A company can have 2 managers or 2 CEOs. It can have that. It can't, right? Why? Because it becomes chaotic. They'll fight each other constantly. One is going to make a decision, another is going to make a decision. They're going to fight over the decision. Nothing's going to get done. The whole company will become corrupt, and they will destroy the whole company. Right? A marriage is like that too. Allah Ta'ala made one CEO of this marriage, and that's the man. And he's the one who is responsible for managing this marriage. It's a great responsibility. It comes with a lot of work. It's not easy. They shouldn't be taken lightly. But Allah Ta'ala put it in place so that it can safeguard this marriage. Because if this marriage becomes destroyed, falls apart, so much corruption comes out. And we probably see that a lot of us are aware because of how common family breakdowns are. We see the outcomes of that. What happens to the children, what it causes to society, and so on. All the mischief and corruption is over there because due to their not being a strong family unit. Ayyuha al-kiram, we are living in a time where the family unit is under threat. The family unit is under threat by ideologies that are creeping into even the Muslims. They are adopting ideologies that have nothing to do with Islam, and they are, as a result, destroying our family units. And you all know what I'm referring to. All these isms, all these different isms that exist. They have nothing to do with Islam. He chose Islam for us as a way of life. You know what that means? That means Islam governs every aspect of my life. The moment I feel that Islam does not govern certain aspects of my life, and I look for answers elsewhere, that is when I have told myself that I do not want what Allah Azza wa Jal has chosen to be the divine way of life, which is the perfect way of life. That's extremely dangerous. What it means to be a Muslim is that you are someone who submits to the will of Allah Ta'ala. When Allah commands you to do something, you do it instantly. When Allah prohibits something, you abstain from it instantly. That is what it means to be a Muslim. It's not about how I feel about it, what I think about it, because you are servants of Allah. Enslaving someone who their feelings, or their emotions, or their thoughts and their opinions are disregarded when it comes to their master. That's who I am as a Muslim. I submit. And when we submit to the will of Allah Ta'ala, things will work out for us. We will go well. Because Allah Ta'ala, what He has decreed is the best. But when we go against it and we follow our own whims and desires, that's when things are going to fall apart. And we are going to be extremely depressed. I have to say it, because it wouldn't be right if I didn't say it. What is very common today is that there's extremes. There's an extreme when it comes to our sisters, and there's an extreme when it comes to our brothers. The extreme with the brothers, which is that they have been influenced by this red pill ideology, which is not an Islamic concept. It has extreme principles that contradict Islam. And then they try to put the Islamic cover over it, which a lot of it is degrading or humiliating women or oppressing them. And then you have the other extreme, which is feminism, which has plagued the minds of our sisters. And they think that this is something that's going to give them their rights, when Allah Ta'ala has given them all the rights that they need. Allah Azza wa Jalla has not taken anything away from them. You know what doesn't make sense to me, which until today I cannot fathom. Imagine if I was told this, that I can stay home for the rest of my life. I don't have to work to stay in my life. But I get everything for free, and I can live a lavish lifestyle.
You just doing.
If I was told that, and I was given another option to leave home, to go out every day, to go work, to leave, struggle, which one would you choose? I would choose the first one. It doesn't make sense to me where our sisters are told by Allah to get all this free lifestyle, live your best life. they say, no, I want to have. I don't get it. I want to go to a 9 to 5 and struggle. Yes, I'm not saying that sometimes you need to do it. But it's just a sacrifice to make all that. But if you're told initially that your husband is going to take care of everything, right? And you just stay home and enjoy your life. You have to spend on earth. Don't worry, right? You want anything else. But society has convinced our sisters that they will be less guided if they are informed. If they have been told that chasing a career is what's going to make you one who contributes to society to life. The best career that a woman can chase is the natural career that Allah told us about, motherhood, and it's the most rewarding. Let's say a woman chases a normal career, 10 years, 15 years, she's going up the ladder, she makes it to the top, she's now maybe 40 years old, 50 years old, perhaps unmarried with 100 cats, they're all depressed. None of them are happy. But if she was to get married, right, and she's an extremely educated woman, and she pursues the path of motherhood, which is her innate disposition that Allah created her with, that she has children, and she raises these children upon righteousness, and she raises them to be contributing to society in a positive manner. She has contributed to society in the best way that anyone could do. That is the greatest honor that any individual can get, that a man can never attain. You know, some of the greatest people who lived, they were created by a mother, a single mother. They were made by a single mother, raised them upon righteousness. Some of the names that you're very familiar with, behind them are great mothers who made them. And that's the legacy that they're huge legacy. Because our ummah, the future of our ummah is our sisters. Our sisters, they make the ummah. They are the backbone of the ummah. They are the backbone of society. You have Imam al-Bukhari, who has the most authentic personality of Allah Azza wa Jal. And every time the names are mentioned, people make the dua saying, they use him Bukhari. You know that his mother gets a share of every single reward he gets because she's the one who took into her personal knowledge. She traveled with him and took him to learn, etc. He was an orphan. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he was an orphan. His mother thought he was upon the righteous were made in that Imam with the permission of Allah. Al-Shafi'i, he was an orphan. Look at the legacy. He perhaps don't know the names of their mothers. But look at them. They're in their brain getting the way that no one knows it. That's a huge legacy. If I accomplish just a bit of that, I will be extremely proud. That's how rewarding love is. That's the greatest contribution to life. And just like that, the man's goal is to facilitate all that. His role is to make all that easier. So that household flourishes. He provides a safe space and home that can go in. He provides the world that's required sustenance so that they can develop. He requires all the stuff which is necessary and needed in order for these goals to be achieved. Now, these are the first steps to get married. I mentioned dua. Now, what is the next step that you take after dua? You have to actively look right. But how do you start actively studying? There's a number of avenues that you can take. Some of these avenues I prefer, and I mentioned them. And there's certain avenues that I do not like. As for the first avenue, the first part that we take is finding the stars of it. That this is the way that always works for me. It's worked for centuries. So if it's worked for the years, I believe it's worked today as well, inshallah. It is that you go through connections. If you are a man who's looking for a wife, because that's how it normally is, you ask if you have female relatives. If you have females in your family who can help you look, give them a description of what you're looking for. And let them look out for you. Right? Because it's the man's role to look. He's the one who goes searching. A woman doesn't normally go searching because her nature is to be too shy. So you're the one who goes looking for a wife. So you go through these connections and so on, and they find someone for you. Okay, once they find someone for you, of course, you have the right to either accept or not, but the most important thing that you should be looking out for in these matches, it is deen and compatibility. By deen, I mean what I mentioned earlier on. But compatibility is another factor that a lot of people, they don't give importance. What's compatibility? The Prophet ﷺ told us about that compatibility. He told us that compatibility, it is that, for instance, these two individuals, they come from a similar social status. It's important in marriage. Because if the woman you're about to marry, she comes from an extremely wealthy background, and she's used to a very lavish lifestyle, but you come from a very humble background, when you get married to her, you have to provide her the lifestyle that she's used to. If you can't afford it, it's Eid. Right? Compatibility. It's important. That's one element. Also, part of compatibility, what is mentioned, it is to marry from someone that you have a similar understanding with, that you have a similar mindset. That there's things that you have in common so that you understand one another. It helps the marriage stay intact. And some of the ulama even add to that it makes it even better that you marry from the same culture, because it makes the compatibility better. Because one thing that's important that people do not know, especially young people, is that when you get married, you don't only get married to yourself, you get married to another package into the family. It's a huge package. So when you get married to the same culture, it makes it easier for these two families to interact. Because families, sometimes they make a marriage or they break it as well. And if there's so many misunderstandings due to clashes of culture and so on, and not understanding each other's cultures and norms and customs, it can put a strain on the marriage. That's a reality, right? Also, part of compatibility, it is the element that everyone tends to prefer, which is attraction. Attraction is important. The Sahabi came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, can I get married? He was excited. Ali goes, MashaAllah, have you seen her? He said, no. I said, come see her. I get married to someone you don't know what they look like. Right? Why? Because that will increase the affection between them. So that attraction is important. Why? Because marriage is not something that's expensive power. So when you get married, you get married to someone you are attracted to so that they protect you from looking elsewhere. That's important. Right? But you also have to be realistic. You're not going to get a perfect person who has all the description that you want. That you get to get inshallah. In the dunya, you're not going to get someone who has every single penny box. So that means you have to prioritize everything and make other things less. Things that are important to you and other things that people relate. Being realistic is very important. Because when you're not realistic, this happens a lot with the brothers. That they tend to be unrealistic. And then they go to the another sister. And a lot of the time the reason why he's rejecting her is because he keeps convincing himself, I'm not attractive enough. Right? But then what happens? He ends up delaying marriage until he gets a lot older. And nobody wants him because he's not prepared. Don't let it get to that. Okay. That's important. That's ability. There's another thing that's, what is the way to approach it? Let's say that you found someone who you think might be a match for you. The best way that I recommend that you approach the situation is that you send someone on your behalf to propose the idea of marriage flexibility, because it will save you the embarrassment of rejection. Some sisters can be ruthless. They'll tell you to your face, brother, ew. And that, some brothers will be scared for the rest of their life because of that. never going to figure out that into it. So when you say someone on your behalf, it makes the perfect easy. You don't have to face it against the face. And that's what our mother Khadija what she did. She said to her friend, Khadija, to the Prophet ﷺ, to propose the idea of marriage. Not to get married, Khadija. Nafisa came to the Prophet ﷺ because you have to do it in a smart manner. Don't embarrass your friend so that they don't have to face that rejection as well. Right? So don't say, my friend so-and-so is interested in you, what do you think? Don't do that. Say, what do you think of marriage? Are you looking to get married? And then if they say to you, yes, and then make it seem like, oh, okay, I think I have someone for you. Nafisa, she said to the Prophet ﷺ, what do you think about getting married? The Prophet ﷺ said, okay, I don't mind. And then she said, okay, what do you think of Khadija? And the Prophet ﷺ said, that sounds great, right? And then what does Nafisa say? She said, okay, let me go find out if she's okay with it. She doesn't make it seem like Khadija sent her. Because normally women are shy. And women don't want to come across as they are the ones asking. And a woman can do that as well. There's no shame in a woman, if she sees a certain brother that she's interested for marriage, to send someone to propose the idea of marriage to them. In that manner, without embarrassing people. Right? There's no shame in it. So that's what you can do to say you're talking about. But I warn against it. Don't go up to a sister in the market if you see a sister, give me a problem about interested in you. Don't do that. You freak her out or creep her. But you got to creep the building. Don't do that. Okay, once I've done that I've sent perhaps a friend or sent my family, my mother, sister, or someone to go address the sister for the idea of marriage. If she's agreed, then now you can take it to the next step. But there's something that's confusing. How do you know that this person is someone that you want to approach? Because nowadays, once you take that step and you send someone to propose the idea of marriage to someone, it means that you've already kind of made your mind up before you take that step. So that means that prior to taking that step, you need to do your homework. You need to know about them, gather information regarding them, what they're like, what their character is like, what the family they come from, etc. These sorts of things are very important that you know them before you actually propose the idea of marriage to them. Because when you propose the idea of marriage to them, most of the coaches today, it's hard to take that back. It's hard to take it back. You get that? It becomes quite formal. So it's better you do all that information and gathering intelligence before. Okay, now there's a question that's a big question that a lot of people ask. How do I get to know that person? No. There's no such thing as getting to know someone when you get married. It doesn't happen because I'll tell you the truth. And this is the thing. You will never know this person truly until you're married to them. You won't know the reality until you actually get with them. So, what you go, marriage is a risk. It generally is a risk. But you go off the important things that you know about them, which everyone has agreed upon that they know about the individual. And then secondly, when you actually interact with the person, you speak to them, the thing that you speak to them about is not who they are as a person. You ask them about themselves, because a lot of the time, what are they going to do? They're going to make themselves look the best. No one can say to you, I'm bad at this, I'm bad at this. No one can say that. You're going to everything that as if they're perfect. It's going to be a facade. So what are the questions that we should be asking? The questions that we should be asking are questions that show whether you're compatible or not. Things to do with your marriage and your future. For instance, if you are someone who one day get married, you want to reside in a different country, you want to live abroad. Ask her if she wants to live abroad, because if she says, you know, I have to stay with my family, my parents, I don't want to go anywhere. Knowing that answer will help you make your mind up. If it's important to you to know whether your wife is going to work after marriage or not, ask that question. These are the questions that are going to affect your marriage. It's important to ask these before you get married to understand how compatible you are to one another. having children, etc.
That hurt.
These sort of things are very important because once you get into a marriage and you haven't talked about these matters, that's what causes a lot of problems in the marriage. Because you never spoke about this prior to getting married. So you start fighting about it and you start to resent one another. It's important to ask these questions. Okay, once you've done that, you've seen her, you're content with the way she is, her deen, her character, you feel like compatible, etc. Right? And she's also content with the man, she's okay, happy with who he is. After all that, then you take the next step, and the next step is that you don't delay this step, which is that you formally propose.
Beginning.
How does that formally happen? Most cultures have their way of going about it, but I mean, Islam does not cancel culture as long as it doesn't go against Islam. It doesn't cancel it. Right? If the culture has a certain way of going about it, you follow that as long as it does not go against the Allah Ta'ala. Right? But normally what tends to happen is that your father and the groom and the father will go together to the house of the sister, her family, and they will perhaps even take some other uncles or senior members of the family with them, and they would formally ask for their daughter's hand in marriage. And that is called the khitbah. It's called the engagement. And that is basically a promise to get married to the daughter. Once that happens, what is going to necessitate? It necessitates that now his sister cannot be treated to anyone else for marriage. Nobody else can oppose her because she's engaged to someone else. They're not married, meaning that they don't have the relationship that the husband and wife have. They still have to keep a distance. They can't be alone one another. They can't be going out together to places and go to restaurants as if they're married couple now. They're still two strangers to one another, but there's that promise to get married to each other. And then the next step is to do the actual act, the contract, to formalize the contract. These are the steps that you take for in your job. When it comes to actually get into the marriage itself, the household. And when you are married, there are certain pillars of a marriage still intact. And I believe it's very important that we all know these things. The first pillar of the marriage still intact, it is that this household, the husband and wife, they do spiritual acts together. They do ibadah together. Whether it is that they pray for Allah together, they give charity together, they receive bodies together, they recite the Quran together, they do an act of worship together. It helps the marriage stay intact so much. It keeps shaitan out of your house. It brings barakah to your home. It's so important. Because the closer these two individuals are to Allah, the closer they will be to one another. That is fine. Allah, that is fine. The closer they get to Allah, they will be closer to one another. How it is. That's potential. How many homes have I seen that have broken or they are struggling? And then if you ask a simple question as the husband, do you pray? Sometimes the answer no. The wife, do you pray? How do you expect the household to be a household of harmony if you have neglected the right of Allah? Harmony is something that people are doing now. Allah. So you seek it from Allah by pleasing Allah. If you please Allah wa ta'ala, Allah wa ta'ala will grant you that harmony, that peace, and that tranquility, that love, and that peace between you and us. Allah. That's essential. I can't stress enough. I was going to tell a story, but I realized my sister right here, and then next to one. What should I tell it? I'll tell you the story. It's quite interesting. If this is not gonna like it, she'll go ahead. She'll go ahead. There's Sheikh Al-Hamdi. He, mashallah, he has more than one wife. He's a participant of life. He has 4 wives. But all these wives, they are hafizat al-Qur'an. They have memorized the Quran. They have memorized the Quran. So he had a mechanism to keep his household intact. How did he do it? Whenever one of his wives gets jealous, or there's a disagreement that happens, or there's a problem that arises, he says, the Somalis have a way of revising Quran to Subah. He says, just sit down, ask for ilm. We're gonna have subah. We'll read the Quran, let's fight Quran together. The moment she says, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajim, Shaitan gone. She starts reciting Quran, Sakina comes down. Problem is forgotten with the Quran. Because they are people of the Quran, when you say to them, let's recite Quran, nobody will say to you, no. You say to them, no, Quran? How can you say no to Quran? Let's read the Quran or we talk about the Quran. The moment they read the Quran, everything is solved. That's how he said, with the Quran, he said, Allah Ta'ala has helped me with my family. Because of ibadah, Allah Ta'ala. Please, last thing is
Scary.
another pillar of the marriage is succeeding. And this is the essential. It is that everyone fulfills their duties, their responsibility, and they give each other their rights to spouses. But you know what your duty are, your responsibilities, you fulfill it. And you know what your spouse's rights are, you fulfill it. You give each other their rights. Because a lot of marriages, the reason why they break down is because people don't know their rights, they don't know the responsibilities, they step on each other's toes, and then they cause havoc in a marriage. What are the rights of a man and what are the rights of a woman in a marriage? The rights of a man, it is that his wife, she is the one who obeys in that marriage, in ma'ruf, that which Allah has regulated. She only obeys in goodness. She is one who only lets people into his house that he's pleased with. She is one who behaves with the best character, utmost respect. And she takes care of his home, of his children. That's the rights of the man from his wife. And the rights of the wife are from the husband.
Oh my goodness.
He provides for her, he gives her that awam, he provides for her, he provides for her financially, he takes care of her affairs, he gives her the attention and the advice that she needs. He is one who has good character, dresses in the best manner, he's merciful towards her, he's kind and gentle with her. He is one who does not harm her in any way, whether it's psychologically or physically. And he is one who helps her in fulfilling her duty and does not make it difficult for her to fulfill her duties. And it provides the her shared between both, which is that they respect one another. They consult each other when it comes to affairs of their household and their children. They consult each other, they consult each other. The Prophet ﷺ consulted his wives when it came to the future of their household, their family, what they going to do. They consult each other. Don't just make a decision by yourself as a man and completely out of the loop. They consult each other. And to be those who give each other their rights generally, especially in terms of ushrah. And lastly, it is that they are those who both fear Allah when it comes to one another. They fear Allah when it comes to one another. You don't transgress against the rights of each other. And you keep the secrets of your wife, and your wife keeps the secrets of her husband. You don't expose the secrets of your spouse to anyone, not even your family. And you keep each other's families from each other or from one another so that it doesn't cause friction between each other, meaning that you don't say anything bad about your family in front of your husband. And your husband doesn't say anything bad about his family in front of you, and the opposite as well. So it doesn't cause any friction between the individuals. These are rights. When the rights are preserved, and there's that good consciousness and that ibadah in the home, Allah Azza wa Jalla preserve the marriage, inshaAllah ta'ala. I ask Allah Tabarak wa ta'ala to benefit us with what we've heard. And I ask Allah Tabarak wa ta'ala to make us from those who hear the speech and follow the best of it. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to grant all those who are not married righteous spouses. Ameen. You don't want marriage? Why did you come then? And I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make our marriages ones that extend from this world to the hereafter. And I ask Allah Tabarak wa ta'ala, just like He gathered us all here this evening, that He gathers us in Jannah Firdaus al-A'la without any previous punishment or any difficult account with our parents and our loved ones, and all those who have rights upon us. May Allah Azza bless you all and grant you all goodness. وجزاكم الله خير وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير.
And you put Allah before everybody else, He will make all of your affairs easy. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ إلى آخر الآية. And if you fear Allah and you put the hereafter and the fear of Allah above all of this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you a way out for everything. When you have a very difficult thing that's happening, a challenge, a hardship, Allah will grant you a way out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have an exam, I have a test, I have a difficult thing that's coming tomorrow, I have an interview, I have this. Because you always fear Allah and you always hope for the hereafter, He says in the Quran, He will make a way out for you. But He will only give this to you if you give Him His rights. They say some of them, make Allah the priority and Allah will make you priority as well. It is very important, inshaAllah ta'ala. I'm going to end here, inshaAllah ta'ala. Hopefully you have made sense. And I believe when I was coming here, I was thinking about what I was going to say. And I think these are 5 points that are not only points that will bring success, but they are, inshaAllah ta'ala, 5 points that are easy for all of us to do. I didn't share something that's not practical. I shared things that are very easy for whatever age you are. You can start even from today, inshaAllah ta'ala. And I'm sure the shuyukh and the parents and the older community, they all agree, inshaAllah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening so attentively. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, and your families, and your parents, and your children, and your spouses, and your brothers and sisters. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to meet again, inshaAllah ta'ala. Is there a question? If you have any questions, inshaAllah, you can ask, inshaAllah. If you don't have any questions, I don't mind, because I will just leave straight away. It makes it easy for me. So, you're not making things hard, you're making things very easy. I will ask again, inshallah. Are there any questions? Yeah.
That to fall in love with ourselves. How do we go about this? How do we build our
Building khushu' in salah, firstly you make dua. You ask Allah. You see, everything in Islam you need to make dua to Allah for it. You could try yourself practically, and I will come to that in a moment. But before that, ask Allah. Allah is the one who can open it, right? Allahumma inni as'aluka qalban khashi'a. Oh Allah, I ask you for a heart that has khushu'. But you can make dua in any language. Ask Allah every day, ask Allah for this. Number 2, learn about the salah. Learn about the salah. Learn about the different actions of the salah. And so when you're praying later, you're able to focus in all of those parts, because I understand every single part of the salah. Number 3, and the final one, it is, in the beginning, you may have to try your best to push yourself, so later it becomes easy. It's not easy in the beginning if you haven't done it before. So you may have to apply a bit of force on your soul. Make your soul be focused, be concentrating, come to the masjid. And then after this, it becomes second nature. It becomes easy. Then you don't have to force. It becomes something which you enjoy. You find sweetness, inshallah. Jazakallah.
The question is, especially the parents and the children and the mobile.
So the parents, the children, and the mobile. Okay, the mobile. Okay.
And the children face all this. So what happens? The children are not keeping their time the
Yes.
the games and almost they lost. So this is quite a big crisis.
Yes.
And they are not reading, they are not learning, they don't have time. So would you advise?
Jazakallah khair. This is a very important question. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy you asked this question. These phones, subhanAllah, we all have it. See, I have my one right here. What's this called? Huh? I know it's an iPhone. Smartphone. Smartphone. Smartphone, right? Firstly, there's nothing smart about it. There's nothing smart about it. But I will say one thing. If you are using this more than spending time with your family, if you are using this more than worshipping Allah, if you are using this more than doing things that are important, like your studying and your education, then even if this is a smartphone, you're not a smart person. Wallah, it's true. You're not a smart person.
I call this digital prison.
Digital prison, it is. Wallah, jazakallah khair. Digital prison. Because you're in prison. You only know this. Everyone is here. The whole world, this connects you to the whole world. And really and truly, what this does is worse than what drugs can do. Drugs, what do? They destroy your body. May Allah protect all of us. This destroys your mind. So what's more important? You know, if your body is destroyed, earlier, what did I say? The salah, if you remember. I said the salah, only one person is allowed to leave it. Who is it? The one whose mind is gone. What if his body is gone? Does he have to pray or not? He has to pray. So even if he's on a wheelchair, does he have to pray? Yeah, he has to pray. What if he can't move, he's on the bed, he still has to pray. Any situation, what if his whole body is paralyzed? He prays with his head. That's what the scholars they say. From your head you do ruku', you do sujood, you do everything from. The only time you leave salah is if you're. So look how important the mind is. That shows you the mind is very important. But this, it destroys your mind. It destroys your mind. I teach Quran. If any of you ever wanted to know what I do, I teach people Quran. Not children, I teach adults. Some of them, they come to me, adults like in the 20s, in the 30s. Old brothers, they come. And some of you say, 20, 30 is not old, what are you talking about? 20, 30-year-olds, they come to me. And they sit down. And he comes, and one page of Quran, he's making maybe 10, 20, 30 mistakes. And from my experience, I've been teaching Quran for maybe 15, 16 years now. Long time. So I don't want to say I'm kind of experienced. I don't want to say that about myself, it would sound wrong. But I have been doing it for a long time. That's maybe a better way to put it. So I can see normally straight away what the issue is. He says to me that I'm not good at memorizing Quran. And I say to him, you are good at memorizing Quran. So he says, what's the problem then? I say, the phone. The phone is the problem. And there was a sheikh who spoke about this. A brother came to him and he said, Sheikh, I want to go to Medina for 1 year and I want to memorize the whole Quran. I want to leave everything behind. I want to memorize the Quran for 1 year. Do you think I can do this? The sheikh said, yes, but one condition. He said, what? Leave this. Leave this behind. If you take this with you, you're not going to memorize anything. The sheikh said, if you leave it, I promise you memorize the Quran. He said, okay, I'll leave it. So the brother, he went to Medina. And then the sheikh said, after 2 months or 3 months, he sent me WhatsApp. That means he had a smartphone. He exposed himself because the dumb phone, the smartphone dumb phone, the dumb phone doesn't have WhatsApp. So how do you have WhatsApp then? That means you took your phone and you lied to the sheikh. The sheikh said, I thought we had a deal. He said, well, my sheikh, I couldn't leave the phone behind. Addiction, like digital prison. He's in prison. He changed his mind straight away. After 1 year, the sheikh said, did you finish the Quran? He said, no, I didn't get close. The sheikh, you were right. This is going to hinder you. It will hinder you. Even those going to school, it will affect your grades. Wallah. I know.
A new warrior has entered the ring!
I'm sure that's good as well. So, to be honest, I've met a lot of people going trouble, so I've seen this in many places anyway. I've seen good parents, good fathers, good mothers, they do not allow their children to have it. They say, once you finish school and high school, and some of the parents finish their college, and they get a all of them at college, that's a children education. It comes on being the same and treating them like the whole Quran. When you finish your school, when you finish your college, and when you finish the Quran, I will buy you any phone you like to take. And now, it's a challenge between the dad and the son. The son has to prove the dad right or wrong. If you do what the dad said, the dad will look bad. He said, I promise. So you can later say, Dad, I finished college. Finished college. I don't know my Quran. You said to me you're going to buy me a phone. You can't do straight away. You know the promise. Well, this is what they, and guess what happened? Those children, they got the best grades at school. Those children, they memorized the Quran. Generally, when you see those children, they're very smart children. This is what I mean about the brain. Their brain is very smart. They're very mature. They're 14, 15, 16. But the way they act is like 30, 40, 50. Like a little person. Because their mind is not perfect. Everything is on here. Haram is on here. Bad things are on here. The bad actions are on here. Bad people are on here. So this is very bad. I would say, even if you are not doing bad things and haram things, the worst thing that this can do is waste of food. So if you can minimize this, minimize it. If you can put it away and lock it away for a bit until you, for especially the brothers who are interested in memorizing Quran, for example, they have some goals they want to achieve in the next 1, 2, 3 years, don't delay yourself. This is something I would delay. Try your best to put this to your side. And the final thing with regards to the phone that I will say is, at least when you are at home with your family, don't do it. When you are in the living room with your parents and your siblings, everyone is on the phone. Yeah, how are you? Okay, oh, how did you go outside after the phone? Everyone is pretending to good thing, but everyone is just on the phone. Yeah, that's okay. Don't do this. Put it away and then speak to them. Speak to them with all of your attention inshallah. Does that make sense? Yes. There are people, the scholars they say that the people who are good, you know, find them if you are good. If you are good first, and you are doing in your life, good. The people who are sunshine. You are hungry, huh? Where did you sneak off to when you were there? When you take some of the pizza. You start eating before everyone. Another place to find is the masjid. Into the masjid, good people come to masjid. Bad people don't come here. Good people come to masjid. When you come to masjid, you meet good people, inshallah. Any other questions? Any of you have? Keep reminding. Problem keeps on the beauty of the prayer. If you invite them to the masjid, we don't do this for all of us. Just invite them. Sometimes, maybe they don't want to pray, but they want to play football, for example. Football is allowed to play football. Maybe play football with them before the salah comes in, and after saying, you know what, let's just go through it. Most of them they will go with it. So try your best to invite them to something they like, and then invite them to the masjid after. And keep people about the prayer, inshallah. And, like I said before, I nearly forgot, keep your happy. You don't feel like that. Oh Allah, guide this person. Oh Allah, my friend over here is not praying salah. Oh Allah, make it easy for him. Wallahi, this is good. Imagine if that person, they don't know, but imagine if they were to see that you at night you're making your happen. I just want you to emphasize this point of the ayah with me. Especially the parents for your children, and the children for your parents as well. Make your happen in sujood and in salah, and everything make your happen. Everything make your happen for your parents. Make dua for your friends. Make dua for them. Very, very important. Inshallah. Any last question? Okay, I think we are finished with inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا بارك الله فيكم. Once again, I'd like to extend my gratitude and my thanks to Masjid. How do you say the name of it? You don't know that yet. Sheikh Quran, Mr. Sheikh Quran, MashaAllah. So what does Sheikh Quran mean? وسائل بس إنه الغالي بسكن سائل ما شاء الله. By the way, I have an intention and idea to visit Bangladesh soon. Civil, Dhaka, and Chattahoochee. I'm going to do a tour, Jam. I want to visit. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the affairs easy for the people of Bangladesh and the recent floods. The floods now are easier. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. We were making dua. In the summer I was in Qatar and I was seeing over there. It was very serious, subhanAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it something which is full of reward for the people that were affected and all of the Muslims suffering around the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them all ease. بارك الله فيكم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Easily compare hotels to find your perfect somewhere.
Let us begin.
Hotels.com.
Download
now with $0 fees using Telescan, plus special rates on your first video transfer.
Pay attention.
ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واتقوا النار التي أعدت للكافرين وأطيعوا الله والرسول لعلكم ترحمون وسارعوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين والذين إذا فعلوا فاحشة أو ظلموا أنفسهم ذكروا الله فاستغفروا لذنوبهم ومن يغفر الذنوب إلا الله ولم يصروا على ما فعلوا وهم يعلمون أولئك جزاؤهم مغفرة من ربهم وجنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ونعم أجر العاملين. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الدين النصيحة قيل لمن يا رسول الله قال للنبي ولرسوله وللكتاب ولأئمة المسلمين وعامتهم. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Respected sisters, elders, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala the promises of listen to Allah and the instruction to them and the instruction to Allah Ta'ala. This Private prayer. When you are praying, you take this. Allah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, today I'm going to be speaking about one of the characteristics of Ibadur Rahman. Ever since the Dawra Ilmiya that we had going in London finished and ended, we were focusing on one of the characteristics of Ibadur Rahman. Ibadur Rahman, in simple terms, are slaves who Allah selected and chose, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah chose them, selected them, because of certain characteristics that they came with. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us from these chosen slaves of His. May Allah allow us to be from them. But in order for us to be from them, we have to meet these criteria. We need to meet these conditions, these characteristics. They need to be found in us. And these characteristics, I've been going through some of them in other masajids. And the characteristic that I'm going to go through today, from their characteristics, is at-tawbah, repentance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said about them, إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. وَمَنْ تَابَ
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Before I begin, I'd like to apologize for coming a bit late. I just recently came back from traveling and I was going with the timings of London for Maghrib, so I thought Maghrib was going to be at 8:55, so it was a bit late, so I apologize in advance, inshallah ta'ala. First of all, Jazakumullahu khairan for coming and attending this lesson, and this is the start of a new series of lessons Bismillah ta'ala, and we're going to cover the book ثلاثة الأصول وأدلتها. And this book is a very important book and it's extremely vital. And reason being is the contents of this book is something that every single one of us is going to be facing one day or another. Sooner or later we have to face the reality, which is death. And it's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about in the Quran. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has described extensively in the Sunnah as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, He says, وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ. So the intoxications of death has come with the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the moment you die as an intoxication, sakarat, or sakaratul maut, the pangs and intoxication. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ. Worship Allah until al-yaqeen comes to you. Allah chose to describe death as certainty. It's something that is going to come. Whether you like it or not, sooner or later, death is certain. That's the only thing that is certain about our lives, is death. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul shall taste death. And that moment is going to come. And a lot of us, we tend to try to ignore that. We live on the face of this earth thinking we're never going to die. Like this day is promised to us. We're not even promised the next minute or second. But we live like we're going to live forever. Now I want everybody to ask yourselves, inshallah, this question, and it's a reflection or a point of reflection, which is, if you died at this very instant, today, you died and you just dropped dead right now, how would you face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is there anything that you are unhappy about? And you think and you believe Allah is going to be displeased about it? Is Allah going to be pleased with your actions? Could you have done any more? Could you have improved on anything? Are there any sins that you could have actually left off? Is there something that you should have done today that you're not doing already? Reflect upon it, because it's certain. I'm going to die, you're going to die, all of us are going to die. But how are we going to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now this book, inshaAllah ta'ala, from its objectives is to help us face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and meet Allah in a better state. And this book speaks about the 3 questions that a person is going to be asked in the grave. And to make you understand these 3 questions, there's a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith of Barat ibn Azib radiallahu anhu, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Barat ibn Azib, he's a companion of the Prophet, and he's describing a situation. And this is a situation of
before we start, inshallah, we will ask regarding the issue of qira'at and different modes of recitation, as what we heard in the salah today. Now, this recorded a podcast we talked about it in a little more depth about this quick summary just so people understand what it is. Just like in England, we have different accents, right? So the Indian accent, Max, Nagel accent, everywhere. We have Geordie accent, we have South accent, Glasgow accent, and so on, right? But they're all English. Likewise, in terms of Prophet, the Arabs have different dialects. Quraysh had their own dialect, Banu Tamim had their own dialect, and other tribes had their own dialect. So for example, some Arabs, they wouldn't pronounce the Hamza when you had a spoon on. Instead of saying mu'minun, they would say right? So this is very easy. Just like in English, instead of saying is it not, you say in it. Is it not, you say in it. Right? Now, anything you call Islam, the different dialects were they were all formal Arabic. So I want to today, for example, the riwayah was Susi. If the letters are very close makhraj, they come out from the same place, we join them together. For example, we have وَاسْتَعَلَ الرَّأْسُ كَيْبًا لَا مَنْ رَى الْأَرْض تُجَّسْ instead of saying وَاسْتَعَلَ الرَّأْسُ وَاسْتَعَلَ instead of saying رَأْسُ شَدَّ رَاس كَيْبًا and so on. All this is basically different dialects and so on. And you type in even the Quran, the Quran, type in Qira'ah, it will come in the recital. All the time together, all the time were recited by the Prophet all the time were sent music by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a science of itself, it's something besides Allah study. No one can just get up and start reading it without getting mistakes. So somebody first has to know how to recite properly, inside out, and then after that they learn the other way. And learning had a little benefit too as well, like a more detail on that podcast. Now, as for today, alhamdulillah, we're starting. I'm going to go through the tafsir of Surah Yusuf. The first reason that everybody has to have at least the Mus'haf, the Quran, something like that. If not, then at least the translation in the phone. At least in the phone, they have to do phone or everything. So some people say they're following carefully. They have to do phone or everything. If you got the Quran, try to have it, the English version. Maybe if you want the Mus'haf, the Arabic version, and the translation in the phone, that's fine. Well, just so you can follow. Because today's lesson is going to be a bit longer than normal because we have to do the whole surah. It's going to be hard to do. Right, so we have to try to do a bit more than a third today. And then finish off tomorrow after Zuhr after Asr. Inshallah. So, today guys, I'll start daydreaming. Make sure you have something in front of you so you can follow along as well. Inshallah. As for Surah Yusuf, then the surah itself is, as Allah decides, the best surah. I'm going to discuss that in a short while, inshallah. And it's the surah which, as Ibn Atta, he said, Surah Yusuf is not about that a belief person, somebody who's going to be tried in tribulation, except that it brings comfort to. Even compared to Surah Yusuf before, it's one of the surahs that if you do it again, it will you. And this comfort to a person, and to your heart. Because this surah is
the surah with, initially was sent down the Prophet. The surah is a Makki surah. When you say Makki surah, it means they were sent down before the Prophet attained the Hijrah. And Madani surah is that which has been revealed after the Prophet attained the Hijrah. So Makki and Madani does not refer to the place, it refers to the time. If it's anything before Hijrah, that's Makki, anything after Hijrah, that's considered Madani, a Madani surah. So for example, in the Prophet ﷺ, there was 10 years pilgrimage. Just 2 months before he passed away. The Prophet ﷺ was in Makkah and Arafah, and the ayah came down, Al-Yawma Akmaltu Lakum Dinakum, that today I have completed for you your religion. This ayah is a Makki or Madani? What do you think? So when we say Makki, this ayah is revealed a few months before the Prophet passed away, when the Prophet was in Makkah, doing Hajj. So the surah Makki, 200 which is Makki, 200 which is Makki. 200 which is Madani. It's Madani. You must say in Makki, what he said, and Makki surah is that which is revealed before the Prophet was Hijrah. And Madani is after Hijrah. So a few months before the Prophet passed away, it's Madani, after Hijrah. So look at the time, look at the place. For example, sending surah Ta'ayat were revealed in Tabuk, which is Saudi. So we call that Tabuki surah, we're not sending a Tabuki surah. Okay? So we look at the time and we look at the place. So this surah it's a Makki surah, and it was revealed at a time where the Muslims were being persecuted. And the Muslims were being tortured, and they were going through trials and tribulation. And they were going through hardship. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this surah down as a means of comfort for the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because the story of Yusuf alayhi salam is full of up and downs. As we'll take. 1 minute or so, so we're going to take at the beginning, he sees a dream that he's going to basically become a prophet. Next thing you know, he's alone in the bottom of the world by himself. And then, he's in, he did the thing in Egypt, and then he's got everything there. Now, the up and down we're going to take, inshaAllah. Imam al-Sa'di, rahimahullah, and by the way, Imam al-Sa'di has a tafsir for Tafsir al-Sa'di. I advise everyone, you want to read the Tafsir of Sayyid Yusuf, read Tafsir al-Sa'di. Don't read Tafsir al-Sa'di, not yet. And I tell you what, Tafsir al-Sa'di is the best Tafsir for a beginner. The first reason, because this is what the ulama advise. The ulama advise something, then they take the advice of the ulama. The second reason is because of how concise it is. It's very small. I've got it, I didn't bring it with me, so it's in the hotel. I've got it in 1 volume. It's a thick volume, but it's 1 volume. I've got Ibn Kathir at home, it's in 7 volumes. Right? So realistically, if you pick up Ibn Kathir, most people probably won't finish it. But with Tafsir al-Sa'di, it's a lot more, it's more likely that you are to finish reading that Tafsir. Thirdly, it's very easy. He's written in a very easy way. Imam Sa'di was only passed away, maybe a half a century ago or just a bit more than that. The fourth is that Imam Sa'di mentions a lot of benefits from each ayah and each story that takes place, which allows a person to act upon what is mentioned in the Quran. So just because it's a story, even when you just listen in the story time, but you act upon. Imam Sa'di is written in a way that it makes it easier for a person to act upon. The fifth reason is because it also focuses a lot on Tawheed as well. Tawheed is the foundation of the religion. Imam Sa'di always brings about Tawheed. And the sixth reason is because he rarely goes into the differences of opinion. Even if you read it, honestly it's difficult. In the sense that every ayah, Ibn Abbas said this, Mujahid said this, Estima said this thing. It might sound nice, you have a lot of information, but if I ask you the next day what do you read, you're going to forget. It's too much. So imagine reading the whole surah and every surah he's mentioning was different ulama said. Imam Sa'di, he just tells you the main opinion that you need to know. If it's like a strong difference of opinion to mention it, otherwise you won't really go into it. Tafsir Sa'di, it's in English as well. If you want to read the Tafsir, I advise whatever you take until it, try to read the Tafsir. Whatever you take tomorrow, try to read the Tafsir of Ibn Sa'di, rahimahullah. Anyway, in the Imam Sa'di, he says, as such, the story of Yusuf contains various signs and lessons for the one who asks for them and seeks guidance and integrity. This is due to what it contains of one's evolving circumstance to another. First of all, the thing is sometimes in good, sometimes in a bad situation. So Yusuf tackles all of that.
from one ordeal to another, from facing challenges and to being blessed, from humiliation and slavery to honor and authority, from division to unity and fulfilled aspirations, from grief to joy, from abundance to scarcity, and from scarcity to abundance, from famine to plenty, from hardship to ease, amongst the other things this great story embodies. So blessed is the one who narrated it, clarified it, and explained it. And so Surah Yusuf has so many lessons if only a person ponders over it. In fact, the only said you had a separate book just on the benefit of Surah Yusuf. But that's a separate book, it's a bit more. If you want to summarize version, you can go to the sleep. I said. And yes, it is a story. However, the Quran has many stories. Stories of the Prophet. Now, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention these stories? It's just because story time is listen, our iman boost and that's it. No. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. In these stories are what? Ibrah, there are lessons. And it's gonna, Allah mentioned this as well at the end of Surah Yusuf. So when we're listening to these stories now, when we're taking this tafsir, I don't want you guys to do that like, that's not nice. That's not like that. Yeah, I'm interested. What are the lessons? What's the thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to teach us? Like I said, when this surah is revealed, at a time when the Muslims are being tortured and persecuted, it's as though Allah is giving comfort to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That this is what happened to you sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Don't worry. You have trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have relied on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will always make a way out for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comforting the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Likewise, if you're going through hardships, so Yusuf is a form of comfort. And likewise with all of the other lessons that we will take in Surah Yusuf. Now this story was revealed for, they call it Sabr Nuzul, the reason why the surah came down. For two reasons. Firstly, the Prophet was asked that if Ibrahim alayhi salam was found Palestine, why is it that Bani Israel ended up in Egypt? Why is it that Isa alayhi salam ended up in Egypt, or why Isa alayhi salam was in Egypt? So they asked this question. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the story of Isa alayhi salam. Because Yusuf, as far as I'm saying in Hadith, Yusuf was a prophet, the son of a prophet, who was the son of a prophet, who was the son of a prophet. Okay, who are these four people? The great grandfather is Ibrahim alayhi salam. His son is Ismail, right? It's half, yes, right. His son is a mix, so you pay attention. It's half. And his son is Yaqub, and his son was Yusuf alayhi salam. And they were originally from Palestine, but as you might take in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, Yusuf removed from Palestine to Egypt. Also, some of the companions, they asked for a story to be mentioned as well. This shows us, that story is a great way of giving da'wah. It's a great way of giving da'wah because it has an effect on a person. Hence why the Quran has stories of the Prophet. However, it's very important to keep something in mind, which is, Ahlul Sunnah are always in the middle, right? Between two extremes. One extreme is never mentioning any stories at all. Being very sturdy, very critical, being technical. That isn't always the best way of da'wah, because the Quran is full of stories. Okay, the Quranic way of giving da'wah is not mentioning stories, so we should mention stories. But the other extreme are those, all that they do is mention stories. That's only the stories and funny stories and this stuff. That's all they want. And there's no ilm behind it. There's no teaching, there's no calling to tawheed, there's no calling to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no rectifying the people. If they're doing something wrong, not telling them this is wrong. So you have to be in the middle. You have to call the people to that which is obligatory for us to call them to. Okay? And you can use stories at the same time. As long as both we're in the middle, then that is the correct way. So, without any delay, inshallah, the way we're going to do this is that we are going to have a few ayat recited. And by the way, if you do have the Quran Mus'haf with you, don't put it on the floor. Make sure you don't put it on the floor. To speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be shown some respect and keep it in a high place. You get tired, you have to have patience. That's how knowledge is.
يحيى ابن أبي كثير in Sahih Muslim, he says, the tabi'i said, لا يتفاعل عند راحة الجسم. You can't attain knowledge with the ease of the body. It's a very famous statement, but one thing a lot of people don't realize. He mentioned this statement in the book of Salah under the chapter of Awqat al-Salawat, the timings of the Salah. And what has this statement got through the timings of the Salah? Some people say it's hard or it's on time. That's why he said you can't attain knowledge of the containment and the easiness of the body. You could say that, but then you could say that with everything. You could say that with Hajj. Hajj is very, very difficult. Why did he choose it here? Because those that know the Muslim, he doesn't, when he mentioned the hadith, he doesn't just mention one hadith. He mentioned the same hadith with about 3 different things of narration. So this one, he gathered, I think 13. In that hadith, 13 different narration, meaning 13 different people he went to, he had to cover, just a one thing hadith. The Imam Muslim is indirectly saying to you that, you guys are just reading 10 seconds what you read, right? It took me months, I had to travel here and travel there and travel there to gain this knowledge. Okay? So, we have to have patience. So even if the lesson doesn't go a bit longer than, I normally go that, I think some of you do attend my lesson. I try to not keep my lesson more than half an hour, 40 minutes. But because of time, you need to finish it, today and tomorrow. If it does get longer, you have to have patience, inshallah. And uphold the etiquettes. Yusuf ibn Hussein says, بِالْأَدَبِ تَفْهَمُ الْعِلْمِ. That through etiquettes do you understand knowledge. You don't understand knowledge just by memorizing. That's through etiquettes. Imam Ahmad, 5,000 people used to attend his lessons. Only 500 were right. The other 4,500 will be benefiting from his manners. So manners is something very, very important. And common manners is not putting the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the floor. Okay? And there's other mannerisms as well, which you don't have time to go into at the moment. And if it does get long, I'll remind you of what, actually I'll mention it later, if it does get long, just to motivate you, I'll mention it. A statement of Imam Bukhari at the end, inshallah. So the way we're going to do this is, we're going to recite the Arabic, and it could be 1 ayah, it could be 2, 3, depending on the story and what is relevant. And then we'll read the English, and then I'll explain, inshallah. The surah is 111 ayat, approximately. And so that means if you split it into, we have 3 sessions, right? We have this session, after Dhuhr and after Asr. Approximately we take about 40 ayat per session. We'll try to take 43, 40 after Dhuhr and 40 after Asr tomorrow, inshallah.
A new warrior has entered the ring!
Gotta do this.
And the first point I just want to mention, as you can see in the translation, there's some brackets, right? What's in the brackets is not the translation. The brackets is what's being added by the translator just to make the sentence in English maybe make a bit more sense, or for you to better understand. And that's why in translation you see brackets, that's the main objective of the brackets, because obviously when you translate from one language to another, the meaning can be lost, or you might not fully understand what's being referred to, so they added extra information in the bracket. So he starts off by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off with the Bismillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And there is khilaf amongst the ulama regarding, is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim an ayah from the Quran, or is it
not an ayah. You know, they have and so some ulama say that it's not an ayah. It's not an ayah from the Quran. Some say it is an ayah, but not part of the surah. It's a separate ayah, just to show that a new surah is started. And some say no, it is part of every single surah. I think it's studied in fiqh, which I don't want to go into at the moment. And that's why if you go into India and so on, you follow the method of Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i says it's an ayah. And not only is an ayah, because it's an ayah, you have to recite it out loud. When they start salah, they don't start with it, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. They recite out loud, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, then Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. If you hear that, don't, it's very important that a person does not hasten in reducing others. They learn. So, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah. And why is he reciting it out loud? Because he believes it to be an ayah from Surah Fatiha. And this is clear, some ulama say, Surah Fatiha has 7 ayat. For those that say it is a part of Surah Fatiha, then Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim wad-dallin. That's 7. And those that say it's not an ayah, so you've got to wait till the hour as well. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim. That's an ayah. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. That's the chapter. Okay, so let me study in the fiqh, which I don't want to go into. Then after that, he says Alif Lam Ra. Alif Lam Ra, these are known as حروف المقطعات. مقطع means something cut off. So 3 separate letters. Alif Lam Ra. What's the meaning of this? These are letters which the meaning is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't know what they mean. And you remember the khutbah today, we talked about the miracles of the Quran. And we talked about how eloquent the Quran is. That even the Quraysh who are the pinnacle of Arabic language, when the Quran came, they had to surrender to the Quran. And they couldn't, until now, they can't bring a book like the Quran. So much so that Allah has brought Alif Lam Ra. None of the Quraysh turn around and say, what's this? But they knew, okay, this is Arabic. They couldn't comprehend it. They couldn't bring something like Alif Lam Ra. Because we don't know the details of Arabic language and so on, we might think, what is Alif Lam Ra? What is it? Okay, we need to Allah. Okay. The Quraysh, who had to think Arabic language, they didn't say, what is this? This is not Arabic language. They had to accept that it is Arabic. But even then, they couldn't bring a book like it. Somebody ignorant will turn around and say, okay, they put 3 letters, random letters together and say, look, this is something I've wrote. But even this, the Huruf Muqatta'at is studied, there's details, there's books written on it. And they have details. And even the Quraysh, until now, they couldn't even bring something similar to this. So the high level and eloquence of the Quran. And again, what I'm trying to put up, you can't truly appreciate the beauty of the Quran unless you know everything. Otherwise, you of course, in your own religion, depending upon translation. And you'll find even here sometimes the translations might be incorrect. Okay, maybe if you see one, I try to point it out. Okay, now see somebody in English, they're going to think that's perfect. They don't know what's right enough. But somebody in Arabic, you can go back to the source. Then he says, تِلْكَ آيَاتُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُبِينِ. These are the verses. Ayat, some people have said translating ayah to verse isn't the most correct because a verse is referring, some things in music and so on. So you shouldn't call an ayah verse. Allah alam, maybe calling an ayah would be the best. But the word ayah in Arabic actually doesn't mean a sentence. The word ayah means a sign. The word ayah actually means a sign. As the poet says, وَفِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَهُ آيَةٌ تَدُلُّ عَلَى أَنَّهُ وَاحِدٌ. Everything in this world is an ayah, it's a sign to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. So, why is, basically a sentence in the Quran, why do we call it an ayah? Each sentence is a proof and sign to show that it's spoken from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from nobody else. That's why we call it an ayah. And he says these are the ayat of Al-Kitab al-Mubin. Al-Kitab, the Quran. And the Quran has many names. One of the names is Quran, i.e. something which is recited, qara'a, to recite. The Quran is something which is recited. It's also known as Al-Kitab, the book. Another name of the Quran is Al-Dhikr, the remembrance. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We have brought down the dhikr, the remembrance, i.e. the Quran, and really we will preserve it. It's also known as Al-Furqan. تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده. Al-Furqan, one of the names of the Quran is Al-Furqan. بالتأكيد i.e. الذي يفرق بين الحق والباطل. That which differentiates between the truth and falsehood. That's the meaning of Al-Furqan. So these are the different names of the Quran. And then the clear Quran. Now this is a characteristic or description of the Quran. And then the Quran, just as it has different names, it also has different characteristics and descriptions in the Quran. The Quran has been described as, first of one ayah has many, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ. The Quran has been described as a موعظة, admonishment. وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, and also a cure. The Quran is also a cure. وَهُدَى, and it is guidance. وَرَحْمَةٌ, and it is a mercy. In other ayat, the Quran is Bismillah it's Bismillah it's that which brings glad tidings and that which brings warnings. And many other descriptions. So all of these are descriptions of the Quran. When you read this ayat, don't think of the clear Quran. Ask yourself, what's Allah trying to say in this ayat? Allah mentioned the clear book. Clear in what sense? It is clear, the Sunnah I understand it. It is clear, Allah speaks in the Quran. We have made the Quran easy. Okay? So a lot of people turn around and they say, for example, can you translate this dua instead of saying in Arabic, say in English? Or when I'm in sujood, can I make dua in English, for example, instead of saying in Arabic? And the excuse they use is because I don't know Arabic. Right? The first answer is, who said it's a condition for you to at least have a baseline ruling, a general understanding of a dua, or of an ayah, of Surah Fatiha. It's not a condition that, to truly understand it, you need Arabic language without a doubt. But you know what? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. What does that mean? You don't have to learn the whole language. The translation is there. You read the tafsir, ask the teacher. It takes what? It takes 2-3 minutes to explain the ayah. Alhamdulillah, all praises are only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of all the world. That's the translation. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. When it comes to our biology exams and chemistry exams and you have all of these words, which most of them are English, you don't complain and say, I'm not doing the exam, it's not English. No one's going to do that because they know they're going to kick you out and that's it, you're not going to get a degree. Right? Wallah Surah Fatiha, you recite 17 times in a day. It's not the whispers of shaitan for you to turn around and say, but it's not Arabic, that's why I don't understand it. Quran is easy. So you should ponder over the Quran and try to understand its meaning. And then he says, in the next ayah, Allah says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا. That we have sent down this Quran as an Arabic Quran. Why? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. So that you may understand it. That true, like we alluded to before, that true understanding of the Quran is only through the Arabic language. And Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah, in this tafsir, in this ayah, he mentions a paragraph, a very, very strong paragraph. He says, the Arabic language is the most, I'm paraphrasing, the most eloquent, deep, and expressive language for the meanings of the Quran. And then he says, therefore the Quran was revealed in the best language, Arabic, to the best prophet and messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, via the best angel, Jibreel alayhi salam, to the best place, Makkah, in the best time, Ramadan. فَاتَّقُوا مِنْ كُلِّ الْوُجُوهِ. The Quran is perfect in every aspect. My very fast saying shows how you look at any aspect you look at, the language, the language. Who brought the Quran down from the heaven? Who was the person who was complaining? The best person, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The best day, time, best time, Ramadan. Which night? The best night, yes, And then after that, in the third ayah, he says, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص. We will read or relate upon to you and mention to you the best of stories. Many of the ulama said that the best story is the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. And other ulama like Shaykh Shahidi, Abu al-Bayan, he says, it's not so Yusuf, in fact, every single story is the best story. The meaning of this ayah is from the best stories. From the best stories. And actually, the point is, is that from the best stories, if not the best, is the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. So this is the surah which we have to come over. Even if you've heard the story before, but every time you read the story again, especially when you get towards the end, it's tricky. Even if you know the story, every time you read it, you're going to learn more. Even Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he would read 100 tafsir before giving the tafsir of an ayah. And 100 tafsir and then make dua to Allah. Or the teacher of Adam and Ibrahim, teach me, and all the one who made Sulaiman understand it, allow me to understand. 100 tafsir. He didn't say, I've read it from one. That suffices me. Like, the more you read everything, that's the beauty of the Quran, the more you learn, the more you ponder over the Quran, the more you learn, the more, even if it's the same thing that you learn, you see how it's affecting. Sometimes just a reminder is enough. وَذَكِرْ فَإِنَّ ذِكْرَى تَنفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. The reminders benefit the believer. And then he says, Allah says, بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. From what we have revealed to you from this Quran, وَإِنْ كُنْتَ بِقَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. That even though you are among those who knew nothing about it. The Prophet didn't know anything from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Allah told him. Again, mentioned in khutbah, this is from miracles of the Quran. The Prophet somebody couldn't read and write. I had never studied the previous scriptures. Look how much detail is in the Quran, showing that this Quran is only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now.
إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم ساجدين قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان عدو مبين وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم لقد كان في يوسف وإخوته آيات للسائلين. Remember when Yusuf said to his father, "Oh my father, verily I saw in a dream 11 stars in the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating themselves to me." He, the father, said, "Oh my son, relate not your vision to your brother." Let's go to the Olympic temple. That's the favor of
Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he starts the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam, he was one of 12 brothers. So we mentioned that Yusuf, he is the son of Yaqub, is the son of Haf, is the son of Ibrahim, and he was also his name. Yusuf himself had the brothers. Okay? One of them, which will mention the story of later, is called Binyamin. And he is the Benjamin. Binyamin. And he after his brother. And Abi. And Yusuf alayhi salam, he had his dream. And after having his dreams, he went up to his father and he said, Ya Abati. قال يوسف الذين يا أبتي. Now, Abati means my beloved father. So not just my father, my beloved father. So you can see how we find this throughout the story. That the Prophet always spoke in the best of manner. See my beloved father. For in this is a lesson for whether young or old. Whenever speaking to your parents, always speak to them in the best of manner. Ibrahim alayhi salam said the same thing to his father. When he was trying to give his father da'wah and encouragement not to commit shirk. And he said, Ya Abati, like Surah Maryam, Ya Abati, la ta'budu shaytan. Ya Abati, oh my beloved father, oh my beloved father. And it's something which we need to cultivate in our children now, because the more years go on, the children, the less mannerisms that they have, the less, they know how to speak. I think so, there's something with the elders always complain about my time here and there. Even we look at our father and say, sometimes obviously it's a bit extreme, but the point is still there that etiquette now and mannerism, especially with one parent, is being lost. And if you look at how the Prophet spoke, he spoke to their parents in the best of ways. Ya Abati, my beloved father. And he says, إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا. I see 11 stars. وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. And I see the sun and the moon. رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. All of them, the 11 stars, and the sun and the moon are being sujood to me. They are prostrating to me. So we had this dream. Okay, and subhanAllah, you find that this dream is something which, it sets the tone and the base for the rest of the story. And so his father, he says, Ya Bunī, my beloved son. Now this is a lesson, the first lesson was speaking to your parents, right, in the best of manners. That's where your parents get happy. Now this is where the children get happy. Ya Bunī, my beloved son. So just as the parents, the son and the children should speak to their parents with good manners, right, and obviously the rights of the parents are much more higher than the children. But likewise, the parents should also speak to their children with good manners as well.
Rashid wins.
I don't think because of my child I can speak to him any way of that one. You don't speak to him in good ways, he's not going to learn good manners. So always, also speaking to your children in good manners and being showing compassion to them, like the Prophet ﷺ. A person would pray, Hassan Hussein would do one while he was praying. The Prophet, did he get angry? He said, I'm trying to pray, get lost. And this happens. Children make a bit of noise at the back. What happens? The uncles get angry and start shouting at them. Sometimes they start hitting them as well. And then what happens? Then they don't want to come to the masjid, they're on the streets. 10 years later, that same uncle's coming to us. My child, he's gone off the correct path. The correct tarbiyah you're giving. So likewise, just as, we have to respect our parents, the parents should also treat their children in the best regard, and that's what the Prophet ﷺ was. And he says to him, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك. Do not tell your story to your brothers. This is because, for a number of reasons. Firstly, there's a lot of jealousy. Even with the brothers. That's exactly what happened as we're going to take in the story. So nowadays what happens, any promotion, any blessing that a person gets, take a picture on social media. Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be. All those likes that you are getting, don't think people are happy with you. There's so many who are jealous. And so many that don't want you to have that blessing. Some people, if they don't have a blessing, they don't want anyone else to have that blessing. And even if that person isn't, maybe, has bad intentions, you shouldn't give the evil eye. The person said, the evil eye is true. Now, how many times do you see people who are blessed and looks like they're having a happy life, but because they're posting everything on social media a year or 2 years later, they're not in the same situation. And one of the reasons could be evil eye. And, sometimes maybe feeling jealousy, it can be natural. It can happen to every single person. So a question a person should ask is, if I, do feel some sort of jealousy towards somebody, what are the ways that I can cure myself from jealousy? And there are many ways, but we're going to mention 3 ways, inshallah. 3 ways on how a person can cure himself from guilt. The first is to learn your aqidah. The first is to learn your aqidah. Because, and I'm saying aqidah not, it includes a number of things. You learn about the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example. Then you know that whatever victim this person got, it's from Allah. And whatever state you are in, it's from Allah. And as far as I'm saying, so how amazing is the affair of a believer. If he's being tried, then he things are being forgiven. If he gains the blessings, then he is thankful and his good deeds are increasing and so on. So you know that whatever he's got, it's from Allah. Whatever I've got, it's from Allah. If Allah wants to take it away from me, Allah can take it away from me. If Allah wants to give it to me, Allah can give it to me. That's the qadr. And you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-alim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of everything. His situation and your situation. And Allah is al-hakim, has wisdom. And Allah is adil. Allah is just. He will never ever oppress anyone. Not even all ever an atom of the amount of oppression. So a person feels content that whatever I have got, now Allah ta'ala wants to get from me. Allah ta'ala has some wisdom in it. Whether I can see it now or not, then it's from Allah ta'ala, so a person is content. So that's, for example, qadr. Yawm al-akhir, it's your belief in the day of judgment. It is to you as well being is brought temporary. I rather wait for that reward which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inside it. Where I will remain there forever being. So the first is the second is dua. And this includes dua to Allah